So I think your profession play a big role. I'm glad that you're building the core of profession to help.
Sure.
No, I mean, economy as a whole.
Correct, because I mean, for ACCA being #1 in Cambodia doesn't mean we are the only one and we have more students than anyone else.
Yes.
For me, being #1 is working with the regulator,
yes,
helping them, working with the national body,
yes,
working with people like the Securities and Exchange Commission, because I mean, we are working very closely with His Excellency Dr.
Yes.
Ming Bangkosal
Yes.
and his team,
yes,
to basically help them to help the companies that are going to list in terms of corporate governance.
Yes.
And risk management.
Yes, yes.
Because on the just 2 weeks ago, we had a workshop with the Securities and Exchange Commission, where I brought in a guest speaker to talk about how to interpret financial statements,
yes,
and how to analyze financial statements for board of directors of listed companies as well as potential investors.
Yes, yes.
I mean, like calculation of ratios,
yes,
and seeing the health of the company, whether it's beneficial to invest, things like that. So we do really work closely with the Securities and Exchange Commission,
yes,
also with the General Department of Taxation, with His Excellency Kong Vibol.
Yes.
So we work not only with our key partners, but also the other partners,
yes,
in terms of demonstrating what we call public value.
Yes.
So that's ACCA's commitment to the development of the accountancy profession, as well as the other sectors surrounding the profession. Like now we are going to organize another workshop with the Federation of the Association of Small and Medium Scale Enterprises, FASMEC, to bring in a speaker to have a workshop on the Cambodian International Financial Reporting Standards for SMEs. Because you have the Cambodian International Financial Reporting Standards.
Yes.
Then you have the reporting standards for SMEs.
Senaka, you should not forget, maybe the same speaker should spend another day to do the same thing for the Cambodian Women Entrepreneur Association,
Okay.
and the Young Entrepreneur Association.
Right. I don't have the contacts of these people.
I can help.
Okay.
I can help.
Definitely.
Let's squeeze that speaker.
That's fine.
An extra day.
No problem. No. The speaker is locally based.
Fine.
I mean, we're trying to get a locally based speaker,
Yes,
because
that's
then it makes relevance, because the speaker is already here,
Beautiful.
who knows the Cambodian
Beautiful.
environment. So we are going to work together with the National Accounting Council.
Yes.
It'll be a joint exercise
Yes.
with the National Accounting Council
Yes.
and with Kickback.
Yes.
So if you can provide me the contact
believe me,
details.
I will help you.
Then I will invite their people to come for one whole workshop.
Done.
Absolutely.
Done.
Because I mean, this is our commitment to capacity
Done.
building. Because you know the accounting standards, these are quite complicated. So you need someone to practically come and explain to them, so that they can start doing it themselves.
Beautiful.
Because if they hire a consultant to do it, I mean, it's going to cost them. And these are small and medium sized enterprises who doesn't have the budget.
That's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, we're running out of time.
No problem.
As always. What is your message to the audience?
I mean, they really should take the ASEAN economic integration by 2015 and try to attain the best benefit for the country. I mean, like certain professions, as I said, they have signed the framework.
Yes.
The people involved in the accountancy profession should really work so that they will have some sort of a framework by 2015.
Yes.
And also, I mean, like the farmers, for example, the people who grow rice, people who grow fruits, pepper, all these products. I mean, Cambodia has the best quality raw materials when it comes to fruits and vegetables and rice.
Yes.
So I'm happy that there are some people who are doing some rice processing and exporting it to the EU and to Australia, because I've seen one big one in Battambang.
Yes.
They should have similar processing units for the fruits and vegetables. I mean, like the mangoes, for example. Like, I mean, take the Sterling Farm, for example, the pepper. I mean, this is the best quality pepper in the world. The rice is the same thing. I mean, Cambodia has the best quality rice. So they should take advantage and try and invest. I mean, people who are in this sector should try and invest in the processing sector, so that at the end of the day, you will have a product that can be sent to the other ASEAN countries once the borders open, so that Cambodia can gain benefit out of that. Because currently it's the other way around. I mean, you go to supermarkets, you see products from Thailand and Vietnam. So that needs to be turned around, especially in the agriculture sector. So that is my message. I mean, people who are involved in this sector should really try to invest in the processing of these products so that you can have an end product that is of equal quality within the other developed ASEAN countries. But I mean, being in the accounting profession, I would like to see Cambodians who can easily go and work in the rest of the ASEAN countries. I mean, if they are ACCA qualified, that's not an issue. But I would like the national CPA program as well. For any Cambodian. I mean, this only works for people who are practicing the profession.
Good, good.
So that's my message.
Thanks, Senaka. Thank you. I think you need some water. Well, you know, in this short dialogue with Senaka, there are a few messages that I want to sort of like continue on what he has just stated. That in the context of the ASEAN Economic Community, it all boils down to qualification, to standard, you know. And if we see a Singaporean businessman coming to Cambodia, a professional coming from Malaysia, working in Cambodia because it has a certain expertise, we should also aim that at a point in time, we can also go to other ASEAN countries. And in the context of, like say, for example, in the banking sector, you see already Canadian Bank is going to Laos, going to Myanmar. Some, you know, Monument Bookstore is already in Myanmar, in Laos. You know, so the opportunity is not anymore in Cambodia. The opportunity is in the region, a region where, you know, you have the capacity. If you have the capacity, you have an opportunity out there. In the hospitality industry, the same thing. Tourism, you know, I have a lot of discussion with some of our very capable chefs. They could work in Sofitel here. Why can they not apply at some point to work, you know, in somewhere in Koh Samui, for example? So I would say it's important to think regional. But then a lot of people say, well, think regional, think global, whatever, but you have to act locally. In this context, in the accounting profession, you have a body, a framework that the Ministry of Finance have oversight over it. You have people in the profession like ACCA who is providing a sort of technical and scientific know-how to help build the capacity of a Cambodian. And a combination of that, right, you need Cambodian to have a certain regional vision to say, look, I want my career horizon to go beyond Cambodia, right? And that's how your ambition comes, and that's how you're going to work hard to raise to your expectation, meaning that if I'm going to be working for KPMG or Ernst & Young in Singapore, this is what I have to get. I have to study hard to get accredited. I have to pass the exam. But ultimately, when I'm done with that, I can go anywhere. And once you're in the region, you can be global. From Singapore, from Malaysia, you can go to London, you can go to Australia, doesn't matter. But for me, my own message would be that we should benchmark many other service sectors. You know, it's like the engineering profession, the legal profession, the architect profession, the medical profession. We should benchmark what the accounting and auditing profession in Cambodia is doing. You know, because they can raise the standard of a profession that can compete in the region. And so are the other professions. We should benchmark against them. So if we do like this, 3 or 4 years down the road, we're not scared anymore of competition. We're not scared anymore of the ASEAN Economic Community. Instead, we have to embrace it, because by embracing the economic integration, we open up opportunity for our young Cambodian, our young professional who enter the profession. So on that note, I suggest that we work harder and we look up for the experience of the accounting auditing profession and see how they're doing. And hopefully, you know, when ASEAN Economic Community become a reality, Cambodia is primed to take advantage of that. So on that note, good night and good learning. Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Tonight, I'm back, to something which I like, which is the ASEAN Economic Community. Yeah, something that will come very fast in 2015. So I believe that we have to do a lot more of awareness on this upcoming major economic integration. And I think the more I could pull speakers from different professional fields to come and share their perspective on how Cambodia will fare when we enter the ASEAN Economic Community, what sort of challenge we're facing, not just as a macroeconomic challenge, but more on the sectoral issue, because at the end of the day, competitiveness is not just about a country competing with another country. It's about a sector competing with another sector. It's about an industry competing with another industry. And ultimately, the company itself will have to compete. And at the very micro level, the person, the individual, the professional, the lawyer, the accountant will have to compete with the other professional in other country. Tonight I have, as always, great pleasure to have a long time friend of mine, Fernando Senaka. Senaka Fernando.
Senaka.
Yes. Who is now the president of the ACCA. I'll let him explain what this acronym is all about. But we're going to have a nice discussion on the status, the situation of the accounting and the auditing profession, and where are we now, how do we, I would say, position ourselves, are we ready, to compete, and if we are not, what are the steps, what are the suggestions we can move forward in the next couple of years to get that sector, that profession up to speed, up to par, in a competitive mode with the region. So my good friend, Senaka, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let's demystify a bit this acronym, because I want to get this out of the way. You are the country head of ACCA. What is ACCA?
ACCA stands for the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants.
Yes.
It's a global body for professional accountants, which is not country specific.
Yes.
And it was founded in 1904 in the UK.
That was before I was born.
Yeah. Okay. It was founded by a gentleman called...
I feel young.
Arthur Priddle.
Okay.
Currently, ACCA has 426,000 students and 162,000 members and 428,000 students in 173 countries.
500,000 students. That's not so bad.
And our target is by 2020 to have 1 million members and students. So that's what we are trying to achieve. And we have 89 officers around the world, and Cambodia is one of those 89 officers. So up to now we have 162,000 members and 428,000 students globally.
Yes.
To put it into Cambodian perspective, we have almost 100 Cambodian members, which means Cambodians who have qualified, which is equivalent and par with someone in the UK or Australia, doesn't matter.
Already
almost 100. And we have almost 2,700 students who are pursuing the qualification.
My God.
So in the next 4 to 5 years' time, we will have around 500 to 1,000 members, provided these 2,000 people qualify and pass the
exam. You yourself, you are an auditor?
I started my career as an auditor way back in 1988 with Ernst & Winnie.
Yes.
And I'm not an ACCA member, but I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And also a member of the local body.
Yes.
The Kampuchea Institute of Certified Public Accountants and Auditors.
But to put in a bit in comparative mode, right? Because I'm educated in the US, before, so over there we use the word chartered accountant, right?
Yeah.
CPA.
Yeah, CPA. That's right.
And in the UK, in Australia, whatever, we use what?
Yeah. I think in the US and in the Philippines and in Japan, it's called Certified Public Accountant.
Yes, CPA,
yeah. And in Cambodia also, the local body, once you become a member, you become a CPA.
A CPA, yes.
Yeah. And with ACCA, that's called a Chartered Accountant.
Chartered Accountant. Yeah. It's the same thing, no?
It's the same thing. I mean, you study this almost similar subject.
Yes.
And it's basically built around the Chartered Accountant's qualification.
Yes. So these two sort of like terminology in a professional context is like, okay, if I'm a CPA, I can work with Ernst & Young or PricewaterhouseCoopers, and so is your chartered.
Yeah, no, the good thing with the ACCA qualification is it's a global body.
It's a global body.
Which means you can work in any country because you have the same equal standing once you're ACCA member.
Okay.
But to just to give you a different angle of the chartered accounts, I mean, because since I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, this is part of the Commonwealth Group. So let's say if I want to go and practice the profession in Malaysia, I will have to go and do the law and the tax paper and become a member of the Malaysian Institute.
Okay.
A Malaysian coming to Sri Lanka will have to do the same thing.
Okay.
A guy who is a chartered accountant in the UK, if he wants to, this is only for practicing the profession.
Only for practicing the profession.
Which means to work for an accounting firm, to be an auditor and to sign off on the audit reports. But if you want to work as a finance manager, a head of finance, doesn't matter. Then you don't need to be a member.
And that's where the
ACCA has the advantage.
Yeah, because in the work, not all documentation need to be certified or signed off, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, although you're ACCA member, I mean, certain country regulations have different requirements.
Yes.
Like for example, in Cambodia, from 2014, you have to be a Cambodian to sign an audit report.
Okay.
But there are some firms who have got an extension of that deadline.
Yes. Okay.
So the governing of the practicing of the profession varies from country to country, depending on the rules of the national body.
I see.
Yeah, because now in Cambodia you have the Kampuchea Institute of Certified Public Accountants and Auditors.
Yes.
Their rules and regulations and requirements will be different from the Vietnam CPA or from the Thai CPA or from the Malaysian Institute of Accountants.
Yes.
So the governing of the profession is regulated by the national body of each country.
It's like legal profession. It's regulated by the Bar Association.
Correct.
You know? Okay. Yeah. You mentioned as a lawyer, I find that yes, it's very difficult for me to go to Malaysia or Singapore to practice law and vice versa, because each country have very different law, right? And different culture and everything that require more understanding of the local law, the national law. But I'm sorry to say, but you're in a field where mostly is number.
Yeah.
So how different is it, the number?
It is very different because the problem is within ASEAN.
Yes.
I mean, out of the 10 countries, like you have Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, which are much more developed countries, which actually they don't recognize the accountancy qualification of countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos and Myanmar.
Okay.
So currently what's happening is that you have the ASEAN Federation of Accountants, and they have formed a special committee to look into the framework, to develop a framework with the intention of having the mutual recognition arrangement for the accountancy profession. Because currently there is a framework already signed for certain professions, like engineering, architecture, nursing, for example, where people can people can, like a Cambodian architect or a Cambodian nurse can easily go and work in Singapore, Philippines, or vice versa. But for the accountancy profession, it has not yet been developed. The framework is not yet developed.
The framework is not yet developed. You mean the mutual recognition arrangement, MRA, right?
Correct, MRA.
I see. And do you see in the near future, in the context of the ASEAN economy, community?
I really hope that the MRA for the accountancy profession will be developed before 2015. I mean, they have been working on it, but it has not yet been reached.
I see.
So, and also Cambodia will be launching their national CPA program. I mean, they were supposed to launch it in 2014, but the date has not yet been fixed. So, from an ACCA point of view, due to our close working relationship and collaboration with the National Accountancy Council, which is headed by His Excellency Nitai, and also the Kampuchea Institute of Certified Public Accountants and Auditors, which is headed by Mr. Koi Kim Leng. So ACCA is working with these two bodies. I mean, when my global chief executive was here on the 14th and 15th, we signed the extension of what's called the joint examination scheme. And also we signed a new memorandum of understanding. And when she was here, she made the commitment to NAC and to KICPA, saying that ACCA will support in capacity building by taking, let's say, two or three people who are involved in the national CPA within Cambodia, take them to our head office in the UK for about a week or two, and I mean, guide them, teach them on how to set the exams, how to do the marking, how to keep the qualification rigid,
Yes.
and how national CPA should be run, so that they can see practically how it's been done by ACCA.
Yes.
And then they can learn from that and come and implement it.
The two body that now is under the oversight of Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
What are the different, and how do they complement each other?
The main difference is the National Accounting Council is the regulator of the accountancy profession in Cambodia. They regulate it.
They regulate it.
Yeah. And within the umbrella of the NAC, you have the national body.
Yes.
Which is called the Cambodia Institute of Certified Public Accountants and Auditors. So they actually manage the profession, which means if I'm, let's say, for example, you are a qualified accountant in Malaysia.
Yes.
You want to join Ernst & Young or KPMG or PwC, any accounting firm.
Yes.
You have to be an active member of KICPA.
Yes.
Before you can sign off on audit reports or before you can practice the profession.
Okay.
So it's all under the umbrella of the Ministry of Economy and Finance.
Yes.
You have the National Accountancy Council, then you have KICPA. Because His Excellency Nitai also has the position of the Government Commissioner in charge of KICPA.
I see.
So he is the one overlooking the whole accountancy profession. But he doesn't get involved in the day-to-day management of KICPA, but he has to sign off on any decisions.
All right. So basically, Cambodia as a country, we have the framework now to, when the time comes for the mutual recognition arrangement negotiated, that we are in a position to say, look, we are in position.
Correct.
And that's where ACCA is stepping in to help build the capacity.
That's right.
Am I correct?
Yeah, correct. Because, I mean, for ACCA, we would really like a very comprehensive and a very well-accepted national CPA program.
Yes.
Because we don't see it as a competition. We see it as, working together to develop the accountancy profession here.
Okay.
Having said that, if you are ACCA member, if you want to practice the profession in any other ASEAN country, there's no issue, because out of the 10 ASEAN countries, ACCA has signed 9, either a memorandum of understanding or a joint exam scheme out of the 10, out of 9 countries. The only country that we don't have any MOU is Laos. But it will come eventually. So because of that, let's say if you are an ACCA member in Cambodia, you want to go and work for an accounting firm in Singapore, for example. Once you say you are an ACCA member, they know what is ACCA. And also they have the arrangements between ACCA and the national body of that particular country, except Laos.
So if I can put more at the operational level, right, minus the policy, so like coherence that we are now discussing under the ASEAN Economic Community framework, right? The Cambodian professional now are building up its capacity that it can migrate to work in different countries in the region.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the missing link right now is that, the mutual recognition arrangement for the profession has not been negotiate yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. The reason for that is that the developed countries are reluctant to recognize the qualification of the developing countries within ASEAN.
Yes. Which makes sense, because a sophisticated financial market like Singapore, where you require so many stringent analysis, right?
Correct.
I would say it's understandable. And so I can relate also to the legal profession. When you start to do a legal opinion on an offshore rig, where you have a different financing structure and it's multi-jurisdictional arrangement, how in the world would you entrust a country where number one, the practice is not there yet.
Correct.
The experience not there yet.
Yeah.
So it's quite understandable.
Sure.
Understandable.
Sure. No.
But to me, Senaka, I think I like this high benchmark because it's like an athlete.
Yeah.
When the bar is so low, it's so easy to cross.
Correct.
But it don't make you a better athlete.
That's right.
If the bar is high, you complain, but you receive assistant help from coach, from trainer, to jump over.
That's
and
right.
the day you jump over that bar, you are a good athlete.
Successful, that's right.
So professionally, I concur. So
Correct. No, I mean, I'm so happy that the National Accounting Council and the national body KICPA are really, they are really pushing for a national CPA program.
Yes.
Because it is, every country needs a national CPA program. I mean, you have the international qualification,
Yes.
but the national CPA is the pride of that particular country.
Yes.
Because it's there, it's the Cambodian national CPA program.
Yes.
Which for me, if I'm not a Cambodian, but
You look Cambodian to me.
I would like, a national CPA program, because that's the flagship. And then you can have the other international qualifications.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, in my country, because I became a member of the national body, and then I have the choice of becoming ACCA or any other qualification.
Senaka, I look back 20 years earlier, which I think that's when we met about 20 years ago, right? So you are an honorary Cambodian. You were in the accounting, auditing profession. I was in the legal profession. 20 years later, I see that the profession that you pursue have a very well structured body, nationally and internationally. And I want to link a bit or compare to other sector. These are the sort of body, the sort of sector that other sector in the country should look up to.
Yeah.
Because when you enter the ASEAN Economic Community, you have to be competitive. You have to meet the standard, right? And if I look for something quite visible, you look at the construction now, right? You see high-rise sprucing up.
Yep.
Cambodia have to move up into that international standard of construction, for example. But the Wat Nat Tower is a good example.
Correct.
That when people come to the country, they see, my God, Cambodia has such a high-end, sophisticated, building structure with all the first world amenity, right? Fiber optic and everything. These are the sort of thing. But in the soft skill, accounting profession, you set the standard.
Yeah.
And other people, other sectors should follow.
Correct.
If we are to compete and succeed, in the ASEAN Economic Community.
Right.
So I have to take my head off. And
definitely. No, for example, you have the ASEAN Federation of Accountants, and the Cambodian body was holding the presidentship until December 2013. So that means within ASEAN, they recognize the national body as the presidency of the ASEAN Federation of Accountants. So that's the kind of recognition that the local body here have within ASEAN.
Yes.
But what they need to really do is now develop the national CPA program, so that they can eventually come up with a mutual recognition agreement.
So
the arrangement.
I'm going to project a bit further, forward-looking. 5 years down the road, more than likely Cambodia will not be anymore a least developed country.
Correct.
We would have graduated into a lower middle income country.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, how many Cambodian you foresee, at least those who are in your program, right, that we could boast or we could claim that we have a core of good accountant, auditor that can meet international standards?
Sure. Our prediction is currently we have about 200 students.
Okay.
Because ACCA has 14 papers.
Yes.
Fundamental 9 and professional 5.
Yes.
So currently there are about 200 students who are pursuing the professional papers.
Wow. Already.
So I'm thinking about in the next 2 to 3 years time, at least 300 members. The member numbers have been increasing gradually over the years. And my prediction for 2020 is to have at least 7,000 members and students. Members and students combined.
Yes.
Because currently we have both members and students about 2,600.
It's a rolling plan.
Yeah. So 2014, and we see the growth of our students at the range of about 9 to 10%.
Yes.
Like what we want is quality students who will eventually convert to members. We don't want students who study but cannot qualify.
Yes.